Hello everybody, the week is almost over, but it is time to sit down and watch trailers because Mr. Stevens is going to be moving on to greener pastures. This will not be your last time on Let's All Go to the Trailers, but
maybe it will be.
But whereas Daniel Bloodworth fills in for you every now and then, you will possibly maybe fill in for Mr. Bloodworth in the future.
I'm totally down to guest star.
But you like to go to the trailers, right?
I love going to the trailers.
Then let's all go to the trailers. My name is Brandon Jones. Mr. Ryan Stevens, of course, is with
Hello.
us. And Mr. Kyle Bossman will be continuing with us. I don't know what's worse news, the fact that you're leaving or the fact that he's staying.
They kind of cancel each other out.
They do.
It's like a zero-sum game.
If you're worried about the quality of the show moving forward, it'll pretty much remain the same.
As long as Bloodworth actually talks about the games themselves.
Bloodworth's good. He does really talk about the trailers. Blood gets into the trailers.
Talk about the games.
For your sort of last episode, Ryan, I got some good CG for you. There's all the trailers we're about to see are going to be pre-rendered CG. All of them.
I would make argues.
2 out of 3 fantasy-based. And one that is so long, we're actually not going to watch it in its entirety.
Yeah.
But 2 weeks out from E3, still getting awesome trailers. Even though July is going to be a super slow month for games, we're getting cool trailers. So let's watch them. You got something to say now?
No, I'm ready.
You're ready. All right, here's the first one. Sacred's a game I think we might have talked about before. Isn't it isometric dungeon crawler?
No, Sacred's like a weird kind of hybrid-y
multiplayer
fantasy
action
game. I think it's had multiplayer in the past. Made the jump from PC to console with the second one, and the most surprising thing about this trailer to me was the last little bump out where there is no PC version. I don't know if it's going to have one at all, so it's kind of weird seeing they kind of do that loop.
For this franchise?
Yeah. Kyle,
you like things that are funny.
So he hates this trailer.
They did a little funny thing for their announcement. It doesn't take too long. It's not like they don't drag the joke out forever. It's not really exciting, but I thought it was kind of cute. What do you think?
I love this trailer.
Ugh.
I really like it a lot. To me, it shows an attitude. We talk about tone a lot. I get a good tone out of Sacred 3. Yeah, there's pre-order now. By the way, nobody knows how to spell the word pre-order. Sometimes there's a hyphen, sometimes there's 2 words, sometimes it's 1 word.
Pre-od.
It's not a word for anyone. It doesn't exist yet.
Pre-od.
So unfortunately,
it could be in a fantasy game. Like there could be the town of Preodare, and you haven't been there yet.
I would love that.
Preodare now.
When it starts, you think it's a dumb game. You just see like this generic warrior woman killing a goblin, and then she's really proud of it. She shows a lot of character though, like here, being proud of it, packing it up on her little hut over here, and then like how jealous she is of this thing. Like you see character in this generic warrior woman, and I really like that a lot.
She's Felicia Day, killing Kevin from Dark Messiah of Might and Magic.
Do you get the sense that this game is comedy all the time from this trailer, or do you just get a sense of like they want us to play this game because fantasy's fun and games like this are fun, collecting things is fun, winning is fun?
Oh, PC's there, right?
Okay, sorry, just looking at the boxes.
Gotcha. So no, I think that they're us. You know what I mean? When we play a game, we're not always imagining ourselves as these very serious warriors. Sometimes we just want to kill things and be proud of it. And so when I see them act like that, I think they're acting like we are, And I think that's what's cool. It's kind of accepting of what the Sacred 3 is.
We get a severed head, so it's not just cartoony silliness. It is a little gore in there, for the adults.
I take umbrage that you said that these trailers are good CG after I suggested the Tomb Raider trailer from E3 was good CG and you guys pooped on me. This is okay.
Wow.
But I think this is fun CG. I mean,
yeah.
We'll be watching Team Fortress later, which looks good, which we like the look of it, but again,
that's
not
Valve
like,
Movie Maker, so that's
bleeding
I'll
edge.
take umbrage with that one.
Would this surprisingly make you want to play Sacred?
Yes.
You may want to check it out because, oh, hey, look, they.
I want to watch another trailer. Basically, I want to watch the gameplay trailer of Sacred now.
And then you'll decide you don't want to play the game.
Yeah. And then I'll give that one a bad score, but this one's a good trailer. This is a good, announcement.
I think it's better than average. I give this a 7.7. I thought it was funny. I like when companies decide to do something special with trailers, so they realize some thought went into this, a lot of pre-planning to realize that if we're gonna launch this game, let's make it an announcement instead of just show some more gameplay.
8.9 minus 0.5 for pre-order now. 8.4.
Your math is correct.
Thanks.
4.6.
Whoa!
There's a chuckle in here.
Ouch!
But I mean, it's a light chuckle. I mean, I think I'd be upset for the pre-roll I probably watched before this.
More CG warriors and forests fighting stuff. This one got me a little bit. I play mobile games a lot because I don't have a ton of time now to sit at home and play console games. Like you were saying, you know, like Sacred did when we were collecting stuff, trophies of kills that we had acquired in our RPG journey. And this kind of more plays up the village aspect, where it's like, you know, you want to build up your home, you want to, you know, not just influence yourself but influence all of the people around you. It's one thing if you watch a trailer and in voiceover they say like, do you like, you know, fantasy games? Then you'll love to collect stuff in this game. And like, there's no
PC.
voiceover. It's just you just get this CG. It's also quick too. It's only both these trailers are only a minute, and it got me. I think when the village started to grow and become bigger, I was like, God, you got me. That's really it. Like, that's what I want to do in RPGs. I wouldn't say I'm like excited about this game. I didn't look up anything on it beyond this trailer.
The Settlers is like, you know, a long running series of, you know, building little towns, and I think this trailer feels like maybe it's a little bit about a little bit like direct marketing to people that are maybe into the Settlers, showing that it's going to have a little more of this fight the monster aspect, but not shirking on the city building stuff. And this is where CG kind of to get a point across when you're like locked to an isometric view game. You know, like when we were looking at not the Dota game, the DC MOBA game. I think, like, you know, like, I'm not anti-CG trailers, as I've said before, and I think this is kind of a good way to kind of steer the direction. I think this little tease out with the gold and the monster isn't really as impactful as maybe as they were hoping.
Yeah.
But and then it's like a hard cut too, right?
Yeah.
This was okay, but I think it definitely was going after a certain kind of person. I think if you're not into the Settlers, and the Settlers sounds like already kind of like a wussy name, I don't know. I'm not really sure what you'd kind of get out of this, with the kind of not completely cartoony, but slightly cartoony heroes and villains.
You can say cartoony. They do. They look like those like Fisher-Price toys, like pre-action figures.
The Weebles?
No,
Playmobil?
No, they're the bulky firefighters. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? They're like 2 inches tall, and they're
Do
just
they
like
have arms or no?
They do have arms.
No, I'm not sure.
Okay, well, they look like toys to me. They look big and bulky. You know, art style is not to the fault of the trailer. You know what I mean? That's the game itself. I really like the trailer. I like also, Brandon, I really like games where you kind of like upgrade your city. I love stuff like that.
I just love the look on his face when he gets the gem, like, ooh.
Yeah, I can add
He's
another
so,
story to
He's
this.
so excited to get that gem, you know.
Because at first I was mad so my first watch through of this trailer, and these you know, adventurers hand him a crystal. It's like, I'm so mad they handed him the crystal and didn't keep it for themselves. But then I saw the city growing, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, I like this.
How mad were you?
I was pretty mad because I don't want to play a game where I'm giving my crystals to other people.
This is one of those games that often gets announced at Gamescom, not at E3, because it's got a bigger, like, kind of European pull. Like, you know, at Gamescom, we've gone to a couple Ubisoft pressers, and like this has been like, we are a big announcement, you know, like all the Germans are like, yeah, and it's kind of, anytime Germans are screaming in unison, it's kind of scary. It's a long-lived series, and probably for a reason. I think city building with fantasy elements is awesome. I like having an adventure, like what was that WiiWare game? My Life as a
Final Fantasy, My Life as a King.
Yeah, like that stuff's cool.
Love that game.
Little King story. The very first ActRaiser, where you could do the city building stuff, where it's not hardcore sim, but you still get that, or like even if you played Skies of Arcadia, where you build your pirate base or something like that. I always kind of like that stuff. Like Kyle, it sounds like you do as well.
Yeah.
But where it's not straight on Sim City, and I think with the adventuring aspects, it sounds pretty rad. I love his sword, by the way. That one shot with how it kind of like bevels out.
Yeah.
It looks really cool, actually.
I think the style is adorable in this trailer. I like trailers that tell a story. I think the logo at the end is a little weird. The logo reveal over the village. I would have liked maybe like fade into black and then bring the logo in. It just kind of seems weird.
And of course, what is it? Anteria? Does that mean anything? If you're a Settlers fan, does it?
Right.
Oh.
Finally, we're in Anteria. So
At long last.
So I'd give this a 6.8. I think is a little bit below average, just because they could have just
What is average for Brandon Jones? 7.5.
7.5. Yeah. As far as just like, good job, you did the trailer thing you were going to do.
This is bad. This is just like, oh, whoa, there's a blue thing in it? That's like a teaser. Give me a break. I think it's pretty good. I had no idea about the Settlers until this point, until I watched this trailer. And it demonstrates a lot of, I think, what the game is and will be. There's no gameplay of this game. I looked for more of this too, and didn't see any. So I want to give this game a 7.3.
Why don't you add 0.5 because it didn't ask you to pre-order?
Yeah, I should. I should stop deducting points and just add points.
That's
for
what I
those
was
don't
thinking.
ask for pre-orders.
I'm gonna give it an 8 flat. I think it's actually pretty decent. It's pretty good for what it is.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good step in a lot of directions, except for the little tease out, which still it grabbed my interest, but ultimately I thought this was a little disappointing.
So finally, there's no way in hell we're going to get through the entirety of Expiration Date from the team at Valve and Team Fortress, who have given us so many amazing videos over the years that, I mean, do these sell Team Fortress? I don't know. Is there any way that they can draw a line between the people who watch these videos and the people who actually play the game? I know there are people still playing Team Fortress
Tons
daily.
of people, yeah. I have 2 quick notes.
Sure.
Okay.
One, as I believe the only person on the panel who's actually had a tumor. I just want to say they handled the tumor
That I
discussion.
know
That they they handled the tumor stuff with respect that I respected. And I actually watched Free to Play this weekend, the Dota 2 movie, which I was shocked that it's all about the International from 2011. Like everything Valve does, it takes them forever to get something out.
Yeah.
And without saying too much, because I don't want to get anyone in trouble, I know some people who worked on this, and they worked on this years ago. So this has been a while in the works.
This has been?
Yeah. It feels, I like the meet the spy, meet the pyro,
Yeah.
meet the things I think are overall better than this. They're a little more directed. I mean, this is 5 minutes shy of being a modern sitcom, like lengthwise, you know? And it feels like a sitcom. There's like subplots. There's a bit of action that's not completely wrapped up in comedy, even though it's still a comical situation. There's Family Guy style cutaways. The KFC scene with the Jersey girl is my favorite 3 seconds of the thing.
Both got buckets of chicken. You want to do it?
Okay.
I'm not always feeling the sitcom feel. I feel like maybe it's great. It's worth watching, but I still feel like maybe it's a little long.
I agree.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I'm not
Tumors.
into this. So I think it's a good idea. I think, basically we ask why do they keep doing this? This keeps their brand alive. It keeps Team Fortress alive and relevant, and I think it is a good thing to keep supporting a game this far out.
Oh, for sure.
With funny
An
trailers
extremely
and
expensive, time-consuming way to keep your brand relevant.
stuff. But if we get to this point where, like, it's a 15-minute short, like, we can judge it as a short, and just, like, plot-wise is the dumbest thing. If you don't mind me spoiling this for you, everyone, what happens here is they're like, oh, we have 3 days to live for no reason because we found tumors in bread. We got 3 days to live. And it's like, okay, fine, I'll hop on board. But then it turns out they were just wrong. They don't have 3 days. And nobody acts like they got 3 days to live. Not one person acts like a... Oh, my gosh.
Well,
It's bad. It's legit bad writing. It's like, oh, this will be cute. That's this entire thing.
The girl is I forget her name. The girl is the straight man, right?
I think it's Pauline.
She's the Dean Martin, right?
Yeah.
And she's never really brought in on the joke until it's the serious combat part. The characters say their lines, they keep in character. They don't really exploit the red versus blue thing all that much. It's just kind of hinted about. And I feel like this is probably way more like I've seen all the meet the character shorts, but they do like full on comics when they have like their Halloween special and stuff. I mean, there's a lot more It's hilarious, but there's a lot more backstory to this than most people would know. And I think they're not expecting to know too much of that, but they're definitely like with that character, they're bringing in a little bit more of that stuff. Yeah. So it's kind of weird because it's like, do you expect Team Fortress to have lore? I mean, it sounds like a joke question, but it's completely serious.
I love for Team Fortress to have lore.
Well, first of all, I want to apologize. This actually came out last week, and I should have put it in the show last week. I also think this is extremely cool. We've been very critical of it so far, so I don't want people to tune out and be like, well,
Worth watching.
They're just going to crap on Team Fortress for 10 more minutes. The one thing
Just
that,
me.
The one thing that does make me curious is this kind of reminds me of George R.R. Martin writing like a short story for someone's anthology. It's like, that's great. I mean, I read the story and it was pretty cool, but write the damn book, George. And it's kind of like, we get this. And it's like this 15-minute amazing short film that they put together and all these people had a creative influence on. And it's like, make Half-Life 3 for Christ's sake.
It was
What are you
either
guys
this or
doing?
Half-Life 3.
And I'm sure there's no direct correlation between the team that worked on this and developers that actually would be making Half-Life 3.
This thing has like no filler for the most part. There's no credits or anything. There's a little bit of theme music, but it's pretty much all what it is. Do you have any feeling about this?
That it says Team Fortress 2 free to play?
And then free to play is in arguably a larger font.
You're right. That does suck, doesn't it? bigger than the actual game title itself.
Yeah, I mean, okay, there was brief credits, right? That's what I meant.
Right.
There's no like attributions or anything like that. It's such a sitcom though. There's 3 subplots all intermingled and stuff like that, and I think maybe, I don't know, they should have just maybe focused on something.
But it's like you have so say you have a launch trailer for a game. And it's like, all right, we know our game is launching on Monday. We release this trailer on Friday. Let's see how many retweets it gets. Let's see how it does to our Facebook page. Let's see how many downloads that gets on various platforms. Like, we can measure the effect of launching that trailer 3 or 4 or 5 days before a game came out, and then the launch of our game, and then maybe say, like, did that work? What can we do to improve this? How do you monetize this video? Like, what return do they get? As far as, like you were saying, like, it creates brand awareness. Everyone loves it. Makes people happy. Like, I get that. If you make a 15-minute animated anything, you're going to achieve that goal. But what metrics can they use to determine that this was successful? Is my question. Are we getting any more of these? Like, it just seems they didn't have an event or something. It just poof,
that's
all of a sudden we got
You
a
just
video.
asked the prime question. I mean, something at this length, is this something they're going to be able to keep up on and deliver? To answer your question though, is, you know, it's the same reason that people still have hope for Half-Life 3, even after when Gabe is like, the amount of money, it doesn't make sense to make a game that isn't multiplayer. You know, like I'm paraphrasing, but he said that sort of stuff. But you know what? Valve has so much money, Gabe has so much money that they can still kind of do these artistic endeavors. This is why back like a billion invisible walls ago, I was depressed when they laid off like 20 people, because it's Valve. You feel like they should be, if they hire these good people, and they're not being fired, they're being laid off, you would hope that they'd be able to support whatever they're doing. I mean, you know, they're making $1 billion right now with the Steam sale. In all honesty, this probably is tied into Team Fortress directly. There's probably Bread Monster, and you kill the Bread Monster and you go to Hatland or something like
weapons.
that.
You get bread monster weapons.
Exactly. See, so there is like a tie-in. They're trying to promote it. Because they do all that wacky stuff. I mean, the game's, you know, probably one of the most changed games in gaming history from its inception to now. How much the game's changed.
I'd give this a 9.6. This is spectacular. I mean,
Wow.
This is great. Good job, guys. I mean, it's just a huge, massive production. I mean, I can't... It's very, very difficult for me to even think of scoring it less than that, regardless of whether I like the story or anything. The incredible amount of time that all these people put together to make something that was just like, oh, this thing that advertised the game. You know, it's like overkill with a capital O that has donkeys strapped to giant piles of TNT bursting through it. I mean, it's just like, why do this? I don't know. It just seems like
For the
a massive undertaking.
Yeah, for the love of it too, which is pretty cool. I'm very happy this thing exists. I think it's a horrible story. I don't like these dumb stories where like this schlub just like gets the girl because he like lied the right way. Like, what did he? Oh, he didn't learn it. Oh my gosh, it makes me angry. So like, I'm happy for this one time I can be mad about the story and it's completely relevant to how good or bad this trailer is. I give this a 3.
I know we get into this argument all the time, or discussion, where is it a trailer or not? It's promotional for the game, but I mean, yeah, this is a full-on narrative. It's got its moments. It's worth watching for anyone who's even tangentially interested in video games and this sort of stuff. 7.4, slightly below average. Kyle, I do have to ask, did you like the Meet the series?
Yeah, those are great. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
wanted to, just curious.
Those aren't dumb little romance stories. Where it's just like, oh gosh, I really wish I could have her. You know, if I could just have that woman, I would be happy. That's the only thing I want with my last 3 days left of life, is just to have this girl want me. Like, oh my gosh.
You should be the scout.
It makes me so mad.
Again, a slight advertisement again for the Valve movie filmmaker.
Oh, sure, yeah.
for
It
sure.
is impressive, this whole thing.
Which,
made
you
it
know,
sort of-
sometimes this is cool. Like, you know, you've seen the stuff with Gary's Mod, or even like in the Dota documentary when they jump into the scenes and rotate the camera and stuff. I gotta assume maybe that's similar. I'm not entirely sure, but really, really cool stuff that you can do. And I mean, these are all in-game models just being rendered out at a, you know, higher fidelity.
So that was a lot of CG we just watched right there. Guild Wars 2 got a trailer for The Gates of Maguma, guys.
This is a good trailer.
Gates of Maguma.
This is a legitimately good trailer.
I thought it was a fun way to sell an MMO. Kind of a fun, mysterious tease. Super mysterious for me because I'm not currently involved in Guild Wars 2.
Maguma.
It's a good game.
So,
Just gonna say that.
But yeah, fun trailer. Well done. The Legend of Korra got a poopy trailer, but it is exciting that we got that announcement.
Yeah, can I ask real quick? That's all just from the cartoon.
I'm sure.
right?
think
yeah.
so.
I actually have not
Okay.
seen season 2 yet, but
Because I saw the screenshots and I'm like, unless they're doing like, okay.
They might have pulled out. It's gonna be like Dragon's Lair. You actually just kind of move the joystick in any corner of the.
I was curious if they were going to do
Screen.
any original animation.
And Smite had a trailer. They have the one of their gods is Ra, and they have Ra America, which is a bald eagle, and I think has maybe like the same powers as Ra, but like they're or it might be a completely new character. I don't play Smite, but essentially it is a bald eagle and a giant American like
This
Is he
setup.
blue
And
and also a Muppet?
he's red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
No, that would be sweet.
this made me appreciate the Supergirl trailer from last week. This is
Oh, interesting.
this is the worst way to do a MOBA character trailer. It's
It was
so
pretty
bad.
boring. They were definitely really, really focused on the effects. Like they're like, look how many stars we put into this explosion. Look
Slow-mo
at it.
and real slow.
So yeah, the pace of the trailer wasn't very good. But when I was looking at all of the trailers that came out this week, if I was going to mention one on the side, it would.
Yeah.
I thought the character was kind of funny. I pick. You really didn't like Team Fortress, Kyle, so you can pick something else for trailer of the week.
I mean,
but,
trailer week goes by votes. That's a democracy. Trailer of the week.
I vote for Team Fortress.
I vote for Sacred 3.
I vote for Settlers.
Okay. Oh no.
Weird. Actually, wait.
So there is no trailer of the week. We are all undecided.
Maybe they can. Maybe like the comments can decide or something.
Well, we're gonna have.
Well, 4th of July, it's a democracy, maybe.
This is true. Raw America then for 4th of July. But I'm gonna have
Sure.
guess next
I'm gonna have Daniel Bloodworth on next week, so maybe I'll ask him what his favorite was, and then that'll be the trailer of the week prior.
The week prior. Cool. I like that.
So right before you left, Ryan, we did that for you. But thank you for your time on
my
Let's All Go to the
dreams.
Trailers, Mr. Stevens. I hope to have you guest star in the future, whenever you're doing nothing, and you're not going anywhere, Kyle. But I hope all of you guys are back next week. We'll see you then.